Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Now in today's video we're going to be continuing something that we started last week on this channel when we took a look at Microsoft PowerToys for Windows 95. And if you guys haven't seen that video and if you want to get kind of a look at the very first version of Microsoft PowerToys, go ahead and check it out. It'll be up in the cards. But today we're going to be continuing and taking a look at the second release of PowerToys for Windows XP. And what Microsoft PowerToys is, just very briefly for those of you who don't know, it is a set of tweaks and enhancements for the Windows operating system published by Microsoft and available for free. There were versions of this for, as I said, 95, XP, and even Windows 10. There is a current version of this suite of software available for Windows 10. Now what I've got on screen right now is the download page for PowerToys for XP, and this page was actually published on October 25th, 2001, which is the same day that Windows XP was released. So these PowerToys were available for the operating system right from the start. This page has 11 tools. It shows a list of them right here. This is a list and brief description of each one of these tweaks, and you have a single PowerToys.exe file that you can download. But what we're going to be taking a look at in today's video is actually the updated release of PowerToys for XP from 2008, and this actually adds some additional tools that were not originally in this first release from 2001. There are actually 14 different tweaks here, and once again we have a list and a brief description of all of them here. The only difference is that you had to actually download each one of these individually. You can see there is a individual download page for each of these tweaks. But to make things a little bit more convenient, I'll have a link down below to a Major Geeks download page that actually has a zip file containing all of these tweaks. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump in and see what PowerToys for XP had to offer. So I've got the folder on my desktop here containing all of the different PowerToys, and like I said, we have an individual setup file for each tweak. Now, just like PowerToys for 95, Microsoft did not provide any official support for any of these programs. This was all kind of as-is software. It was really intended, as the name suggests, for those power users that really want to tweak the inner workings of the operating system. So they were offered for free, they were developed by Microsoft, but they were just not officially supported by them, so you kind of were advised to use them at your own risk. Now, one of the major differences that you'll see right off the bat is we have a bunch of exe files in here. All of these tweaks are actually installed using exe files as opposed to the INF files, which were used in the Windows 95 version to install the vast majority of the PowerToys. So we're going to start with ClearType up here and work our way down to WinColor setup. So let's double click on ClearType and install it. Now this does not actually install ClearType on your system because Windows XP already came with ClearType, but what this does is it adds a control panel applet, and just to show you that, let me actually open up control panel here. It adds this applet right here, ClearType Tuning, and you can see that we get that same window that the setup opened up automatically for us. And this actually lets you tune some of the ClearType settings. Now, normally in Windows XP, to enable ClearType, you have to go into the display properties, appearance, effects, and then change this drop-down menu from standard to ClearType. That's how you would normally enable it, but you didn't actually get access to all of these options. So what are these options? Well, let's take a look at them. Obviously, it gives you the ability to turn on ClearType, which you need to have on for you to actually be able to do anything in here. So we've got ClearType on. We can click on Start Wizard. Now this is kind of the easier way of configuring ClearType because it actually just has the program really do it for you based on what settings that you select here. So for example, it's going to tell you, okay, out of these two text boxes, which text looks better to you? So I'm going to say this one on the left here, and then it comes up with a selection of 6 text boxes, and I'm going to go with the one on the top left and select Next. And now it's going to say, okay, this is how we have configured ClearType on your system. So it shows the sample text right here. This is how it's going to look, and you click on Finish. So that is your really easy way of configuring ClearType. But what you also have is this Advanced tab. And in here you have, once again, the same option that we had in the display properties to actually enable font smoothing. You can choose between ClearType and Standard. But when you have ClearType selected, you get some additional options, as you can see here. So the first one is LCD screen striping. Obviously this will not take effect because I'm not using an LCD, but if you were, that's how you could customize that. You also have the option to apply these settings to every user on the system, including new users. So if you wanted these to take effect system-wide as opposed to just for your user account, you could check this box here. And then you've got this little preview box, and you can also change the sample font. So if I wanted this to be like Comic Sans, for example, we could change it to Comic Sans. We can make it bold and size 16. So that is what font is going to display in the sample text box now. And then I can change this contrast setting right here. If I wanted the contrast for ClearType to be lighter or darker, I can change that, and you can kind of see how it changes there. So that's what ClearType tuning enables you to do. Again, it doesn't really install a new feature on your system because ClearType is already installed, but it gives you the ability to tweak that feature, and that's the way that a lot of these PowerToys behave. Next up is CMD here, and we actually saw this very same tweak in the Windows 95 release of PowerToys, because what this does is it gives you the ability to open a command prompt window by right-clicking on a folder. So if I wanted to, let's go to my computer here and go into the C drive. If I wanted to open up a command prompt and have it already be in the directory of the Windows folder without having to open up a command prompt and manually change that directory, I can just right-click on the Windows folder and click Open Command Window here, and it will open up a command prompt already inside of the Windows folder. Next up is probably my favorite tweak from this entire pack, and that is Deskman. So if we open this up, it is short for Virtual Desktop Manager, and for those of you who know what virtual desktops are, you probably already have a good idea of what this program does. This program actually enables you to have virtual desktops on Windows XP. Yes, even though Windows 10 was the very first Windows release to include virtual desktops by default, Microsoft actually had a tool way back in the age of Windows XP that allowed you to have virtual desktops on your system. And this is actually accessed by right-clicking on the taskbar. What it does is it adds a new toolbar. So if I go to Toolbars here, there's this new one for Desktop Manager. If I click that, I'll get this little interface down here, MSVDM, or Microsoft Virtual Desktop Manager, and I can switch between 4 desktops. I can have up to 4 desktops. Now, Windows 10 lets you have more than that. Here in XP, you were limited to 4. So let's say I want to go to desktop number 2 and open up the PowerToys zip file, and then go back to desktop number 1. You'll see I have the PowerToys folder opened up on desktop 1. So yeah, it just basically gives you virtual desktops. What's also cool is this little green button. If I click this, it actually brings you into this view where you can actually see what's going on all of your virtual desktops, and it plays these nice animations too. So you can see that the 3 and 4 were not loaded, so you have to actually click on desktop 3 and 4 to actually load all of them up. But now if I click on this green button, you can see I've got all of my virtual desktops. I can get kind of a bird's eye view of what's going on all of them. Now, one of the things that makes this version of virtual desktops different from like what we have in Windows 10, for instance, is all the programs you have opened up in your taskbar will actually stay consistent. Like the contents of the taskbar will stay consistent across the 4 desktops. So if I go to desktop 1 here, you see I've got CMonkey, the PowerToys folder, and the PowerToys zip file opened up. If I go to desktop number 4, these things will still be in the taskbar. Now in Windows 10, the items you have pinned to your taskbar will stay there across all 4 desktops, but the windows will not. So that is one major difference that sets this version of virtual desktops apart from like the version we have in Windows 10, for example. Next up is HTML Slideshow, and what this does is it actually gives you the ability to create pretty cool slideshows of different pictures that you have on your system. Now this actually installs a new program on your system that you can access by going into the Start menu, All Programs, and inside of the PowerToys for Windows XP folder. There's also a README file in here, but right here you see we've got Slideshow Wizard, so I can open that up. And it's essentially a wizard, and what you can do is go through here, you can select what images that you want to be in the slideshow. So I've got the 4 sample pictures here, I can select all of them, click on open, and then you can see it adds them all here. I can click on next, and right here you actually have some options. So you can name your slideshow, we'll just call this My Awesome Slideshow. You can give it an author name, so we'll put my name here. You can choose where you want to save it. You can choose the picture size, so if you wanted the slideshow to not take up very much space, you could go with the 320 by 240, the smallest available resolution, or you could keep the current picture size, which we'll do in this instance. You can choose to only resize the pictures that are larger than the size selected, so if you had like 640 by 480 selected, and you had 3 photos that were 640 by 480 and one that was 1024 by 768, it'll only resize the one file that is actually above the 640 by 480 resolution. So that's actually very useful, but again, if you're going to keep the current picture size, this just doesn't apply. You then have the ability to choose a simple or an advanced slideshow. We're going to choose the advanced slideshow because it gives us more options. And you can choose to have it run in full screen or not. We're just going to uncheck that. And you click on next, and then it's going to say, since this folder is not created, we're just going to click yes to create it. And then it says, okay, you successfully completed the creation of your slideshow. So we've got it opened up here in Internet Explorer. Now, the first thing is going to prompt you with an ActiveX dialog up here. So we have to enable that. So we have to allow blocked content and select yes. And so what you've got here is a brief landing page, so it will give you the name of the slideshow as well as the author name. It's got the kind of XP PowerToys branding down here, just kind of lets you know this was made with XP PowerToys, and this is actually a link to the PowerToys website. But if I click here to watch the slideshow, this is the slideshow right here. And since I chose the advanced option, we get a couple of additional features. So not only can I just click through and go to the next picture, I can also click on this play button and it'll have like a brief little animations kind of on a timer. It's kind of going through all the photos. I can also click on film strip to kind of view it in a film strip view where I've got the thumbnails down here at the bottom and previews. And what this does is just a list of all of the different thumbnails. So if I had like a bunch of pictures in this slideshow, I could go to previews and then actually get a nice kind of graph of all of the different photos, and I could click on one to enlarge it in the film strip view. So the real use case here is actually being able to send slideshows to other people, to your friends or to other family members, because obviously Windows XP has the ability. I can go into sample pictures here, I can double click on this Blue Hills picture, and I can click on Start Slideshow. I can view a slideshow of all of my pictures, but the only way for somebody else to be able to do that is for you to send all of these full-size photos to them, and you'd have to do that on like a CD. Well, if you had a lot of photos that wouldn't fit on a CD, this program would not only allow you to compress them and kind of take up less space on the CD, but it would also give you a nice interface to kind of browse through all those photos and view them right from your web browser. So it's pretty awesome, and I really think that's kind of the main use case for this. So that is the HTML slideshow. Next up we have Image Resizer, and this one is very similar to the command prompt here tweak. It's a very simple tweak because it adds an option to the context menu. So if I open up the start menu and go to my pictures, I can go into sample pictures here, and I can right click on one of these photos, and you see there is a new option for resize pictures. I can click that. It comes up with this window right here. You can choose a size. There's also a preset for handheld PCs which fit a 240 by 320 screen. You can also click on advanced to get some advanced options. You can choose a custom size. You can even choose to resize the original photo as opposed to making a copy, which it does by default. So if I wanted to make a new copy of this Blue Hills photo for a handheld PC, I can click on OK, and you can see it now creates a new picture. It's labeled WinCE for handheld PCs is what Windows CE would run on. And this is, if I right click on it and go to properties and summary, this is a 240 by 180 photo. Which will fit on a handheld PC. So that is how that works. It's again very simple. It just adds a new context menu option, but very useful for those working with photos a lot and you want to really resize them very easily. Next up we have Magnifier, and what Magnifier does is it's kind of similar to the virtual desktops in that it actually adds a new toolbar to the taskbar. So if I install this here, I'll show you what I'm talking about. So I've got it installed. I can now right click on the taskbar. I can go to toolbars, and you see there's a new option for TaskbarMagnifier. I can enable this, and this is essentially a modified version of the magnifier tool that comes with Windows XP by default, but this just actually runs in your taskbar as a toolbar, and what it does is it's a magnifier. So as I move my mouse here, you can see if I mouse over things, it right down here creates a magnified image of that. It's exactly how the regular magnifier functions. Instead of just being in a window, it's just inside of your taskbar. Next up is the PowerToys calculator, and what this is a really advanced version of the calculator that comes with Windows XP. It's a whole new program. It once again adds a whole new program to your system. So I've got it installed here. I can click on finish, and now if I go into the start menu and into all programs, just like the HTML slideshow creator, there is a new PowerToy calculator option in this PowerToys for Windows XP folder. So I can open it up here, and let me just open up the regular calculator so you can see the difference, because this is such a advanced version of the calculator. It adds so many more options. You have the ability to graph functions. It supports conversions and variables. You can see there's a functions option up here, a conversions menu right here, and you can see you can create variables right here. It can still do basic math as well, but it doesn't actually give you like a keypad like this. You actually have to type in whatever operation you want to do. So if I want to do like 7 divided by 7, I have to type it in here and press enter, and there you go. So 7 divided by 7 is 1. I can do 6 plus 9, enter, and it's 15. So obviously it's still a calculator, so it does all the basic stuff that a calculator does, but it just adds a lot more functionality. So it's pretty useful for those people who need to graph functions and do conversions and use variables. Next up is Raw Viewer, and what this one does, this is really useful if you're a photographer who works with a lot of like raw image files. It does, first of all, require .NET Framework version 1.1, which it will automatically extract, and it will come up with that installer for you right here, since I don't have .NET 1.1 installed on the system, so you need to actually have that installed. But this actually gives you the ability to view metadata and thumbnails for raw image files, which is definitely pretty useful if you're a photographer. Now this next one here, it is called Slideshow, and this one I haven't really been able to figure out, because it says on the website, like on the official website, it says that it gives you the ability to view images burned to a CD as a slideshow. And but the thing is, you can obviously do this on Windows XP by default. So like I've got a CD image inserted into the computer's drive right now, and it comes up with this option, and I can say, okay, view a slideshow of the images using Windows Picture and Fax Viewer. I can click on OK, and here is a slideshow of all the images on the CD. So it's, I mean, you can do that with Windows XP regularly, but that is literally what it says that it does. And obviously XP, like I said, has that feature by default. This does not add any additional program or anything like that. There's no additional like photo viewer program or anything. So yeah, that's the only one I haven't really been able to figure out what it actually does. Maybe some of you guys know, so if you do, let me know down in the comments. Next up, we've got SyncToy, and this one, it actually opens up in a different installer wizard. We'll just agree to the license terms and everything, and we will install it. This actually gives you the ability to sync multiple folders together. It's actually kind of cool. Let me just go ahead and show you how it works. We'll go ahead and open it up here. This adds, once again, a new program to the start menu. It's not even inside of the PowerToys folder this time. It's just at the root of the All Programs menu. It's called SyncToy. Once again, we'll go ahead and open it up here. And this is the main interface right here. So to create a folder pair, you have to click on this button down here. And you basically choose 2 different folders. You've got your left folder and your right folder. So you could do this with 2 local folders on your system. You could do it with a local folder and a folder stored on a network share or a server somewhere. You could really do it with any 2 folders. So let me go ahead and choose 2 different folders here. We'll choose the left folder, and I'm going to make that the PowerToys folder here on the desktop. And then we'll click next, and for the right folder I'm going to choose, let's do my documents, let's do my picture. So just kind of 2 totally unrelated things. You would obviously want to find something that kind of, you know, relates to something you actually want to sync together. But just for this demo, we'll just choose these 2 different folders. So you click on next, and you get this list of actions here. There are 5 actions. You've got synchronize, echo, subscribe, contribute, and combine. So your first option right here is synchronize, and basically what this does is it creates a mirror between the left folder and the right folder. So whatever changes you make to the left folder, they will be mirrored across to the right folder. So if you make a new file in the left folder, if you rename or delete a file in the left folder, all those changes will take effect in the right folder. Your next option is echo, and what this does is, as it says in the short explanation, new and updated files are copied left to right. So any changes you make to the left folder, which could be the folder stored on your local hard drive, will take effect in the right folder, which will be the folder stored on the server possibly, or on a network share. But any changes made to the right folder will not take effect in the left folder. Your next option is subscribe, which is basically the opposite of echo. Anything that happens, like any new files added to the right folder, will be added to the left folder. Your fourth option is contribute, and this is basically the same thing as echo, but without deletions. And your final option is combine. This is the exact same thing as synchronize, but without renames and deletions. So again, the same thing as synchronize, but it will not apply to renamed or deleted files. So just for this demo, we're going to choose synchronize. We're going to click on next, and you're going to have to name a pair. So we'll just call this test and click on finish. So right here, it gives you the details of this pair. It tells you what the left folder is, what the right folder is. You can have an option to change the action. So if you want to change it from synchronize to echo or subscribe or one of the other ones, you can do that right here. You've also got some customizable options. So maybe you want to not include subfolders. Maybe you want to not include all file types. You can change those options right here. You can click on this all folder pairs to get a list of all of your different folder pairs system-wide. But you can also click on preview right here and get a list of all the actions that it's going to perform when you click on run. So this will actually tell you what the source file is, where it's going to copy to, and obviously since I selected synchronize, everything in both of those folders, it's basically going to create a mirror. So everything in the My Pictures folder is going to copy to the PowerToys folder. Everything in the PowerToys folder is going to copy to the My Pictures folder. That's exactly how it's going to work. I'm not going to click on run because I don't want to do this, but that is how it would work. And again, it's pretty useful for a server or network share situation where you want to kind of have something stored on a remote server somewhere, but you want to have those files automatically copied to a folder locally. This could be very, very useful for that. So that is SyncToy. Next up is Task Switcher, and this is very similar to the ClearType control panel applet in that this does not install a task switcher on your system. Windows XP already has a task switcher. I mean, I can press Alt-Tab, here it is, but this just updates it and it gives it a whole new look. So let me show you what that looks like. Let's install it here. So we've got it installed, and if I press Alt-Tab, this is the new task switcher. You see it looks much better. It actually fits in with the Luna theme a lot better, and it also gives you a preview of whatever window that you have open. So like if I open up SeaMonkey here, if I open up Recycle Bin, let me just open up like a bunch of programs. Let's get a control panel. So I've got all these windows opened up. I can now press Alt-Tab, and as I tab through these programs, I will get a little preview window, which is definitely very, very nice. And as I said, it really fits in with the Luna theme because it's got that nice blue background. And it also actually will change depending on what variant of the Luna theme you have applied. So if I go to appearance here and change this to the olive green style, I can apply that, and now when I press Alt-Tab, you'll see it will have a olive green background, which really fits in with the olive green Luna theme. So a very, very nice touch. Next up is Timer Shot, and what this is, as you may be able to guess by the title, this is a webcam timer program. So what it does is it actually gives you the ability to have your webcam set on a timer to take a new photo every couple of seconds or couple of minutes or even once a day. So let me just click on finish. I'll go ahead and show you what it looks like. This actually once again adds a new program to the PowerToys for XP folder, and here it is right here. So we can open it up. It's a very basic UI. You basically, if you had a webcam attached, you would get a preview of that right here. You could choose a device. I don't have a webcam on my system, so it's not gonna, nothing's gonna show up here. But I can click on this little arrow right here to get a list of options. So you can choose your interval. So you can take a picture every number of minutes, seconds, hours, or days. So if I want to take a picture every 10 seconds, every 10 minutes, or if I want to take a picture every hour, you can do that, or once a day, or every 2 days. There's a lot of customizability there. You can also choose the size if you want to just keep the default size, or if you want to change it, like if you want to make it smaller. You can choose the file name and the location of where you want the file to be saved to. You can even add a network place if you want to have this stored on a remote server somewhere. And I just kind of thought, as I was going through this off camera, this might be useful as like a very, very extremely basic security camera tool. There are way better solutions out there for security cameras. This is definitely not the best solution. But if you wanted just to set up your webcam pointing outside or at an area of your house or whatever, and like have it automatically take a picture every 10 minutes or 1 minute or every hour, or if you had like enough disk space every second, you could definitely do that with this. Again, there are way better solutions for that, but this was a free piece of software, and if you just had like a webcam sitting around and just kind of wanted to maybe get into security cameras or whatever, this could definitely do that for you. It's again called TimerShot. Next up is Tweak UI, and there are actually two different installers here. One of these is for the x86 architecture, one of them is for the Itanium architecture. I already have this installed on the system. I can go into all programs, PowerToys for XP, and here it is, Tweak UI. And this is a very powerful program. It allows you to make a plethora of modifications to Windows XP's user interface. It's very, very powerful, and it deserves its own video. And in fact, I've done a full video on this program. So if you want to learn more about what Tweak UI had to offer, go ahead and check out this video. It'll be up in the cards, and it takes you through every single one of these options in here. And last but not least is WinColor, and what this is another control panel applet. Now, unfortunately, I have not been able to get this control panel applet to launch. This is it right here. This is what the icon looks like. I can double click this all I want. It will not actually open up. It's kind of unfortunate. But this is the README documentation, and basically what it does, as it says right here, is it adds a new color item to the Windows control panel, providing a single place to view and edit color management settings in Windows XP. Using it, you can install and uninstall color profiles, change color profile associations for displays, printers, and scanners, view detailed properties for color profiles, including a 3D rendering of the color space gamut, and rename color profiles, keeping the file names and internal names consistent. So pretty awesome. Again, this would be useful for like photographers. In fact, Microsoft mentions that on their website. It says professional level photographers and designers know that getting consistent, accurate color from file to screen to print and beyond is a requirement for great results. This new tool helps you manage Windows color settings all in one place. So it would be kind of cool if we could take a look at it, but for whatever reason, it just does not want to open up. It's kind of unfortunate, but we were able to get the majority of these to work, and like I said, these were free pieces of software. It was pretty awesome. It provided a lot of useful tweaks and enhancements to Windows XP. And so that is it, guys. That is a look at PowerToys for Windows XP. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, definitely be sure to give it a thumbs up. Be sure to get subscribed down below and turn on those channel notifications if you haven't already to get notified whenever I upload a new video, which I do every single week here on this channel, multiple times a week actually. And if you guys have any comments, questions, or even video suggestions for me, be sure to leave those down below. And as always, I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.